So here we are, the seventh of Elul. Which it said, Kol Shabibin Chavivin. Chazal say, all sevens are dear, all sevens are precious. Yom Yom. I have looked at this, so I challenge us to say, see if we can find what relationship there is to this Hayom Yom with what we're learning in Tanya. Here goes. The Alter Rebbe instructed that in the phrase Petzuat Daka, in the Torah, there are listed a number of blemishes to the body that disqualify a person from certain acts of holiness. And Petzuadaka is one of them. It means crushed private parts. So he said, when he instructed the writing of a Sefer Torah, he said that the word daka, which means crushed, should be written in the Torah scroll with an aleph and not with a hey. In virtually every Sefer Torah that you'll open in any shul, you'll find it written with a hey. He instructed with an aleph, daka. Now in Prague, there was a Torah scroll which, according to local tradition, had been examined and extended by Ezra the scribe. That's quite a way back. It is read only in Simchas Torah, and it's always rolled in the portion of Shema. The Frierdiker Rebbe writes, when I was in Prague in 1908, I saw that scroll, and in it, Daka is spelled with an aleph, the way the Alter Rebbe prescribed it. So too, when I was in Worms in 1907, he says, I saw a Sefer Torah written according to their tradition by Rabbi Meir of Rottenburg. And there too, the word Daka was written with an aleph. See also other places, and in this and other places that deal with this subject. That's today's Hayom. Let's see. Lessons in Tanya. You know, it's interesting. The whole topic of Tanya that we introduced is on Amunah. So we have Amunah Shlema, that there's something behind that Hayom Yom that we don't really get necessarily. And I'm open to people suggesting whatever, but nevertheless, we're going ahead with our topic of developing, not so much developing, but the result of having developed and continuing to develop Emunas Hashem, not just understanding in everything, but rather Emunah. And this begins on page, in Lessons in Tanya, volume 4, 194. And in Kuti Amorim, it begins on page 232, down from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines down. As I said, the subject is Amunah. It started with Haskiluch Labina. The Alter Rebbe says, I want to bring to your understanding something that's related to Bina. Now, he doesn't say here, but I think it's very appropriate for this particular piece that we're learning, what the Zohar says about Bina, Chachma Bina. The Zohar says, Bina Liba. Bina is associated with the heart, or Bohale Mevin. In other words, deep contemplation, and we're talking not here about intellectualization, but deep grasping and embracing the teachings of the Torah are meant to penetrate the heart. And Emunah is something that is really beyond seichel, more connected with the heart than it is with intellect. And continuing with our topic, Emunah, so if a person has Emunas Hashem, and a person knows that Ein Od Milvado, there is nothing besides Hashem, and Ein Ra Yored Mishamayma, these are the saying of the sages, that no evil comes down from heaven, then everything is called Tov Kol Hayoim. Everything, no matter what it appears, is good all the time. The Alkein, and here's where we start in the middle of the line. The Alkein, therefore, Reishis HaKol, the beginning of everything, is Sheyismach HaOdam Regel Bechol Eis V'Shor, that a person should be joyous and accustomed and happy, V'Yogel, I said Regel, V'Yogel, and happy, Bechol Eis, all the time, V'Shor, in every moment. And the person should live with his or her emunah. The Hashem, Hamechaya Umeti Imoy, the Amai, who enlivens and gives goodness to his people. could be read imay also, with him, b'chol rega, each and every moment. Hashem is all good all the time. The one who is sad and mournful, is the literal word misoinen, mournful, Mara be'atzma is showing about himself that there's a little bit of negativity. Yisurim, and his yisurim, and his punishments or the pains that he's going through. And a person who is not happy with and hasn't really internalized this, so that person can be unhappy and even complaining and drawn down and broken by this. But if a person understands mevin beliba in his heart, be'emunah shlema, that this is kol hatoiv, this is all Hashem is always good, so then a person is always happy. So sadness, and the opposite of knowing and of living with the awareness that Hashem is always good, he says, is like complete denial, chas v'sholem, in Hashem. Yal kain, therefore, since that is the case, harchichu midas ha'atzvus b'ma'oid chachmei ha'emes, the wise ones of truth, the ones in the Torah and the ones in our generation who really have grasped the truth, they keep themselves very far from the attribute of sadness. And their characteristic is as follows. Hamamin, one who is a believer, doesn't get worried by any difficulties that he or she has in the world, nor about any of the affairs of the world in one's life. The positive and the negative are equal by this person. Behashva amitis, with a true equality. Umisha ein shoven, and one for whom this is not the case, where the negative or the difficulties and the high points are the same in terms of one's deep understanding that they're all from Hashem. If it's not this case, he shows about himself, that he's from the mixed multitude. And the characteristic of the mixed multitude is that they are all about themselves. And about self-love, self-preoccupation with oneself. Lot says mitachas yad Hashem, and that takes them out of the hand of Hashem, and puts them in the category of those who serve idols. Because of their self-love, preoccupation with themselves. And therefore, they're focused only on themselves and their family, and in terms of, it should be, in other words, my way. It must go my way. And if it's not going my way, there's something wrong. The truth is, it's always going according to his way, with a capital H. And if it's his way, it's always good, no matter what it appears to be. Because this really is good. So a person who's on that side that we just described, on the negative side, it is better for him that he or she had never been created in the first place. Because they root, meaning Hashem's rootedness in why he wants to create, in the creating of the world, is to test the person with these tests, and to know, and to know what's in his heart. Whether the person will turn his heart to other gods, so to speak, to anything which is not in the derech of Hashem, shehem taivas aguf, which are the pleasures of the body, which come from the negative side, the other side, not the side of kedusha. And in those is what his desire is, or whether his desire is to be part and parcel of and aligned with the true life, Hamishtalshalim me'elokim chayim, which flows down from the living God. Now, this next part, and even if he can't maintain this all the time, but he's focused on this, this is where he puts it, or she puts his energy, to align oneself in his heart or her heart with the notion that ein od milvado, that whatever is happening is always from Hashem, and therefore ein ira yored b'shamayim, the Chazal say no bad comes from heaven, and aligns oneself and tries to live with that perspective. These next small letters here we're going to skip as a big bracket, different things that could have been, might have been, notes here, how these lines should go. And we're going over on Kuf Yud Zayin, literally the third line down, V'yamin. And a person should, and is able to, and this is the big deal here, a person is able to and should, Shebe'emes hu chai b'hem, that whatever is happening from Hashem. Hashem is the life of everything, and a person should feel that that he or she is connected with the Chaya Chayim all the time, no matter what is going on the surface. And on the contrary, if there's something that appears to be negative, this is a test, this is an opportunity for bringing oneself to this state of awareness that ein ra yoreh m'shamayim, that no evil comes from heaven. And really a person should know that everything that he needs and all the affairs of his life are nostalgical, they come down, they descend in truth in their finest details, in their minutest of details, not from the other side. Kim Hashem mitzadei gever, as the pasuk says, Hashem leads the steps of man. He arranges the steps of man, and there's nothing that comes down that's not good. If so, if that's the case, that Hashem is arranging the steps, no matter what is happening, it's all being given from the one who is Kula Toiv, who's all good. If so, everything is utterly good. Raksha in a Muslim. It's just that it's not apparent that way, and one doesn't see that. And with this emunah, with this faith, if one lives with this faith, then things become which weren't apparently good. You see them differently, and you see them as then they're whatever they are. They're part and parcel of what Hashem has given me to deal with for my own good and for His own good. And you'll see that, and that will become what's giller, what you live with in a revealed way. Shebemunah, with this emunah, shemamin shehara hanidba begola kol chayusoy, that you have faith that the evil, the bad, the negative, which appears and is what's revealed most of the time, hum mitoiva elyon, comes from not only good. This is an interesting way, from the supernal good. In other words, this is an opportunity to bring light from darkness. And the light that comes from darkness is a much more intense light than the light that just is always light. As a person, and this is just plain and simple, it's not even psychology, it's just awareness. We're all aware of this, that whenever we're in a situation that appears to be a challenge and we overcome the challenge, first of all, there's a feeling of great achievement. And secondly, there's a power in that which is necessary for the overcoming and also pervades now the result. There's a power in it that wasn't there before. So as a result of which, not only is this good, but this is mitayva elyon. It's from even a higher level of good. Shehi hachmasi yisborach. And where does that come from? From God's blessed wisdom, meaning the sphere of Chachma, the first of the 10 spheros. She'enu musagis, and Chachma, since we've talked about this before, Chachma me'ayin to matzah, Chachma comes from the ayin, meaning the essence of Chachma is not understandable. God's ways are not our ways in the sense that we cannot fathom Him. If we could fathom Him, He wouldn't be God. And His ways are infinite. And part of His infinite ways is that He he envelops himself in darkness in order to bring things into being. And he says to us, take this darkness and turn it around, because I'm there inside it. And if you turn it around, you'll reveal not only me, but me in a more powerful way. Vehi ha'Eden. And this is what the sages have called Eden. We have Gan Eden, right? The Garden of Eden. And the way we understand it from our tradition is it's not the Garden of Eden. There's a garden, and there's a place called Eden, which is the source of it. East, it's interesting. One of my grandkids is reading a book by John Steinbeck called East of Eden. East of Eden means Kedem. Kedem means primordial. There's a primordial place, which is the deepest place of Hashem, from which things come which are not revealed because they're too deep to be revealed. That's called Eden. And Gan Eden the garden flows from that place. So this place of deep godliness, which isn't musig, it can't be grasped, and doesn't appear to be good, this is what's called Eden. Shelamaylam olam haba, which is higher than any level in all the levels of future worlds. Harebe emunazu, and with this emuna, in this emuna, nichlal umes ala be'emes hara, what appeared to be evil, now you can look back on it and say, well, had it not been for that opposition, had it not been for that trouble, had it not been for that difficulty, I would never have come to this particular place. I mean, I'm sure you can also find many examples of this in your life where what appeared to be a setback, what appeared to be a challenge, what appeared to be something that, whoa, what's going to happen now? And you pass through it and you look back on it and you say, that was an incredible, necessary step to springing me forward into something else. I mean, I could give examples, but I'm not going to preoccupy the time with that at this time. But in a general way, with this amuna, all what appeared to be negative is now included in the process of having overcome it, in the process of revealing a deeper good. Which is comparable to that great goodness which is hidden. Hashem hid himself, his very essence there is there, and one can, through this kind of activity, energized by one's emunah, one can have an experience, or many experiences, of a higher, deeper level of God, which is called Toiv Ha'elyon Haganus, the supernal good which is concealed. That's today's Tanya. Comments, questions? All right, well, one hopes that one is not challenged in these ways. One wants a smooth path, but when the going gets tough, the tough get going. We'll see you tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem.
Thank you.
I wanted